Hey guys, welcome back to another fun fall DIY video. Today we are doing some thrift flips. I always feel like I'm gonna say that wrong. Some thrift flips paired with some really fun Dollar Tree items. So I'm excited for this one. I hope that you enjoy it. Let's get started. All right guys, so first up I have this sign. I picked this up at the thrift store, but it is originally from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby also often has really good clearance deals on old signs, but I paid, I'm sure it was no more than $1. That's usually my cutoff, but I think I might have even gotten it for 50 cents because I think everything was half off the day I got this. But I'm just sanding down all of the glitter, and there you go. Now it's all done, just like that. And now we're going to give this a couple of base coats of the color Moss by Waverly. I am painting the edges as well as the front, and we are going to give this 2 coats is about what it took to get the coverage that I wanted. I have already did some test audio, so it should be okay, but I am outside on my patio doing this voiceover, so if you start hearing some birds chirping or something like that, that is what that is about. You know, doing fall DIYs, but outside is still feeling very much like summer, but that's okay. You got to get started at some point, and I'm making my house look like fall, and I'm enjoying summer outside. So we're going to get that fully covered with our paint, and once it is dry, we're going to go in with these stencils. This stencil is from Hobby Lobby, and I bought it a couple years ago. As you can see, it came with 2 stencils for $1.99, and if you get them 50% off, that's only $1. But I will also tell you that just today, when I'm filming this voiceover, I found a very similar stencil at Dollar General for $1, and they actually had this same set. I mean, it was so close to this set, and then another one. So you can check your local Dollar General as well. And I gave a coat of Mod Podge because I know that that helps with the bleeding of paint, but we're going to stencil in our pumpkin. I wanted to go for a little bit more of a neutral one for this DIY. So we're doing the moss green, and then we're doing the white pumpkin. Now, the Mod Podge does help with the bleed through, but I would also say that my paint was a little bit thick, so I tried to thin it out a little bit, and I think thinning it out because of the stencil, it did bleed just a tiny bit, but we'll fix that in just a minute. And then I did do 2 coats or 1.5 coats, like as needed, on the pumpkin. And then for the stem, I am using a mixture of burnt umber, I think in jet black. It's a paint that I mixed up for another DIY. You'll see it in a minute. And I had some of that mixed, and I really liked that that shade. So I didn't let it fully dry in between, but I let it dry a little bit, and then I went back in and just touched up any spots and then peeled it off, and it looks great. Now you can see the little Mod Podge lines around the stem and maybe a little bit around the pumpkin, but that's because I used a satin Mod Podge. I was trying to use up ones that I don't normally use because I have a lot of different types of Mod Podge. It's going to be fine because in the end we're going to give it a coat of matte Mod Podge, and you won't notice those little lines. So now I'm going in with a tiny paintbrush and the moss paint. Sorry, my head goes in the way and makes it go out of focus. But I'm just cleaning up a little bit. I didn't clean it up all over the place. It's a kind of a more rustic like looking. It's not like crisp anyway. But I did want to, you know, get out any of the little spots that was too much. So there it is, finished. And now we're going to go in with the matte finish of the Mod Podge. Man, you know, saying Mod Podge, you feel like you say it like 100 times in these videos, and it's just a tongue twister, and then I'm like, am I saying it wrong because it sounds weird? Anyways, here we are. We're going to just give this a good coat, and that'll smooth out the finish. It'll also help seal in the product as well, or seal in the project is what I meant to say. I have to keep picking out a few little chunks because that bottle of Mod Podge is at the very end. Now for a little added detail, I'm going to wrap some twine. This is just some twine from the Dollar Tree. And that little silicone spatula, that's also from the Dollar Tree. That is from the makeup area. And it's very handy for using with a hot glue. And I'm wrapping this around 3 times on each side and just hot gluing it in the back. You could kind of crisscross it and make it a little bit messy. This time I decided to keep it kind of more straight and even. And I just did a hot glue at the beginning and end and just kind of held it tight. And you can still move it around a little bit to adjust it, but it's not going to move around so much that it's going to like fall off or anything like that. And put some more hot glue. I'm just using the silicone spatula to like hold it down and then trim that off. I honestly don't know what you would use the silicone spatula for when applying makeup, now that I think about it. I have no idea. Anyways, okay, I have this liquid adhesive. This is from the Dollar Tree from a while ago. You can see the Crafter's Square little logo, and one of these wood die cuts also from the Dollar Tree. And I pulled out this glue because I felt like there's very little space to put the glue, and the hot glue would get all over. You can see the writing on the back of that because I knew I would lose the packaging, so I wrote on it what type of materials it was good for, so that I would know in the future. But I just wanted something that had a fine tip that would be easy to apply that, and I love how this came out. I thought that was a really nice contrast, and it works well with the jute twine and all of that. And I'm putting the top back on, and that is it for this DIY. Let me know what you guys think down below. I love the mouse color. I feel like it's a great neutral. I use it all year round, but it works wonderfully in the fall and even Christmas. Up next is this DIY using a frame. You can use one you have around the house or the Dollar Tree. I like to pick them up at thrift stores, and I usually don't pay more than 50 cents for them. I often find them still wrapped in their original plastic. This one clearly had been used, but it was in great shape. It was a plastic frame, so I'm going to put down some Mod Podge before we paint it. But I like that it was a little bit thicker of a frame than sometimes I find at the Dollar Tree. And this is when I decided I wanted to paint it. I'm mixing some burnt umber and some black. So in the end, it's not a huge difference in the color, but it goes well with some paper we're going to use. And so I just wanted to not have that harsh black. So I just using paints I have and mixing colors. I actually need to buy some more of those apple barrel acrylic paints. I feel like I haven't bought them in years because I had so many of them. And I'm actually getting to the point where I'm using up colors that I use regularly. So I guess that means I've been doing lots of projects. So I'm going to give this 2 coats with the paint, and I'm going to just, make sure you let it dry properly in between. But, find those thrifted frames and you can just paint them whatever color you want, even if it's a different surface, even if it's a metal one. The Mod Podge does seem to help to make it stick, and or adhere is probably the more proper term, but you can also just spray paint these frames as well. When I picked up these frames, I believe, yes, I'm sure, the thrift store had like everything 50% off, so I'm pretty sure I spent 49 cents on this one, which I was pretty pleased about. And then we're sealing it in with some more Mod Podge. Okay, I've got this scrapbook paper. It's been in my stash for a while. It's from Hobby Lobby. I love it. We're just going to trace out with a glass and cut that out. And then I had this, we're going to make sure it fits. So I did good. We're going to clean off our glass, get all the fingerprints off. And then I have this rub-on transfer from the Dollar Tree. It comes like in a packaging that makes it look like you would put on like a glass, like a drinking glass. And I wanted to put the rub-on transfer on it, but because the paper was a little bit busier, I wanted to kind of give a backdrop for this rub-on transfer. So what I'm doing is just on the glass itself, I'm painting with some white paint. Here I'm making sure I did it big enough, and I just kind of did it more abstract. I didn't do harsh lines. So it's at this point in my editing that I realized I'm missing a kind of important clip, and I can't find it anywhere. I just went and looked, so I'm guessing I didn't actually record it. So I painted 2 coats of white paint on one side of the glass, and on the opposite side I put the rub-on transfer on top. So I don't know where that footage went, and I apologize for that. So put everything back together, put the glass and the picture and the paper background in the frame, and I made a little finger twine bow here, and then I just burn off all the fuzzies with a lighter, and we're just going to attach this to the top of our frame and trim it down. And I do love how this came out, and the rub-on transfer worked great on the glass. I just went through all my deleted footage and everything on my computer, and I can't find it. So I don't know where it went, but you hopefully can get the idea. In this way, it still pops against the background with all of the writing. And I love how this one came out. This will be used in my kitchen somewhere. All right, so our last DIY is this bucket. Once again, this was thrifted. I think I paid 50 cents for it, somewhere around there. But Dollar Tree has these, you can get them, Dollar General, Walmart. You can buy similar things. So I'm going to give this a good coat of Mod Podge because this material, once again, you don't want the paint to come off of it. So we're going to give this a couple coats of Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and I'm going to paint all of this. I'm going to paint the rim, the handle. I even paint the inside. Now I don't do as good of a coat on the inside, but I do paint the whole thing. And it's going to take a couple of coats, so just make sure that you let it dry. Like a broken record, but make sure you let it dry in between coats so that you don't pull the paint back off. And see, there I am doing my second coat. I even did the bottom. I did all the things, just trying to help it look, you know, as finished and professional as possible. I don't know, professional, but you know, you get what I'm saying. You know, we want a finished product. And if you don't, that's okay too. You know, I really didn't have to do the inside. I kind of got lazy with it and I did the whole thing, but I really only paid attention to the top part more. You can see the inside's not as good. And okay, so the paint is all dry. We're gonna go in with more of that moss color. Like I said, I use that a lot in my decor. And I'm going in with a chippy brush, and we're just going to dab it in the paint and then dab a lot of it off. And we're gonna do like a dry brush with it. So it's kind of that distressed look, but with the green instead of like what you would normally have, maybe like, I don't know, a brown or a black or something. But I really like how this came out, and I thought it would incorporate well with my other fall decor. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I don't know if it's a big thumbs up or a little thumbs up, but can you give it a thumbs up, because it would really help me out by liking my video. It lets YouTube know that you're digging what I'm doing, and it makes them more likely to share my video with others, which of course in turn helps me out. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, you know, a lot of people watch videos and they don't subscribe. You should subscribe. That would help me out as well. And it would make sure that you get notified when I post a new video. And you get to control your notification settings. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to be notified, you can turn on that notification bell and still adjust notification settings like on your phone or computer. So just a little tidbit for you, but I'd love it if you subscribed. Okay. Once all the paint was dry, we're now going in with some Mod Podge. Once again, I'm using the matte finish to seal it in with, because that's the finish that I typically prefer. All right, so I just have this huge honking thing of jute cord that I just hit with a camera. I picked this up at a thrift store, brand new, still in packaging. I paid like $6 for it originally. It was like $25 at Hobby Lobby. I'll leave that haul linked for you if you missed it, but that's what I was showing you there. But you could also use some Dollar Tree jute twine. I went for this one because it's a little bit thicker, and I wanted to wrap the handle, and I thought, oh good golly, how long is this going to take? So I have a finger protector on, which I typically don't use that finger, so it didn't really help much, but I'm going to speed this up for you. But see there, I use it for the beginning and the end of the wrapping of the handle, and I'm just holding it for a little bit to let it the glue dry before I wrap it again. And at first here it kept getting tangled because I didn't cut it from the spool yet, because I was like, I don't want to cut too small of a piece because I don't want to end up having to like start it midway, because I figured that wouldn't look great. So after a while I got the hang of it, and I could do 2 or 3 turnarounds with one bit of glue. But I'm just going around, holding it down, let it set. Doesn't take long on the metal, but you want to hold it tight. And then I'm sometimes twisting the jute as well, just to make that a little bit of a tighter, you know, it can kind of come unraveled. And we're just going to do this all the way around. You could also wrap some jute around the top or the bottom, but I liked this on the handle. You could see I kind of did a little bit of a turn there. And then we're going to trim it down, and then I'll put a little dab of glue and push that in there. And then to get off any extra glue stringies or twine stringies, this is a pretty hairy spool of twine. I'm just using my lighter, and that kind of burns that off, as well as any hot glue strings. It just kind of cleans it up a little bit. Plus, I like it because it gives little dark patches in the twine, which I think is cool. And now we're using some florals. These are from the Dollar Tree. They are fall florals. I don't know what floral they are. I can hear a little bit of thunder. I don't know if the audio is being picked up, but if you hear that, we're almost done. I'm going to get this finished before it rains. Anyways, these fall florals, and I poured some rocks in there because I have hardly any floral foam. Floral foam would work too, but the rocks weight it down and also just kind of help keep the stems in place. But of course you can use any floral, but I liked these because they're a fall one, but they're also a little bit more neutral. I have a lot of color in my fall decor, but it's nice to mix in a little bit more neutral stuff, but you can do that, you know, however you want. And that is it. I love how this one came out. Let me know down in the comments which one of these was your favorite. Do you enjoy thrift flips? If you don't, that's okay. Use stuff around your house or pick these items or similar items up at Dollar Tree. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.